What's going on, everybody? My name is Taylor, and you know, the game industry is definitely littered with sequels going back, the last couple generations, and it seems like if you're gonna make a new IP these days, it better turn into a big franchise that you can make sequels out of. However, there were games over the years that just never got a sequel, and I feel like they totally deserved one. So today, I wanted to talk about games that I want sequels to that haven't gotten one, or at least we haven't gotten one yet. I've got 4 games I want to talk about, and then after, I definitely want to hear your thoughts because I'm sure everybody's got their own. Alright, now the first game I want to talk about, I don't have a physical version. I downloaded it off the PlayStation Network because there was a crazy sale where you could buy it for 99 cents, and that is The Legend of Dragoon for PlayStation 1. Now this was Sony Studio Japan's, for Sony, their first foray into, a JRPG back in the PlayStation 1 era. Final Fantasy VII had come out, and I believe Final Fantasy VIII had also come out. And you gotta understand, this is the era of JRPGs. Everybody was making one, and so Sony's like, we gotta get on this craze. And I absolutely love this game. It's got an innovative battle system at the time where you kind of had a time attacks. You could transform into these really cool dragoons. Every character had their own special attacks and unique weapons. And the music is great. It's one of the best soundtracks for any PS1 JRPG or just any game in general. Also, it just had some amazing levels. Those pre-rendered backgrounds looked absolutely gorgeous. There was a lot of variety there. They had the sand levels. There were some tropical ones, more foresty ones, so there was a lot of variety, a lot of fun, and I feel like it was almost expected that we were going to get a PlayStation 2 sequel maybe back in the day. I think PlayStation Magazine, PSM back in the day when it existed, even ran, games we want sequels to, and that was one of the higher ones on the list. And the heartbreaker of all this is Shuhei Yoshida, who now runs all of the Worldwide Studios, who was a producer on the game at the time, stated not too long ago that they were working on a sequel to the game, and for whatever reason that he can't remember, they just stopped development on it, which sucks because that would have been an amazing game to have a sequel to. So that is definitely one game I would love to have a sequel to. Maybe, once they finish The Last Guardian and with all the restructuring that's been going on with Studio Japan, we'll get one, but hey, I'm not holding out hope. Alright, the next game was a big oddity, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and it wasn't one that I think I was initially interested in, but I fell in love with it once I played it, and that is Catherine from Atlus. That is one of my favorite games from the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era. If you haven't seen my review, I've done a review on it. I'll leave a link, but the basic gist of it is that it's half like kind of sim where you talk to people and you talk to these 2 girls, and then the other half are these crazy puzzle platforming stages, and it's very challenging, but it's heavily atmospheric, strangely enough. A lot of fun, very challenging, and this is a game I would definitely want a sequel to. Now, the ending wraps up Vincent's story quite well. There's, I think, a ton of different endings. I think there's 8 different endings, but there's 3 core endings. There's he either ends up with either of the girls or he ends up with nobody. Now, the nobody ending is kind of interesting, but I always felt like a game like this would fit really well on the 3DS. Just, the way the stairs climb, you can maybe use some special powers to turn the blocks on the touch screen. I just feel like it would be a really great fit on 3DS, and I don't know. This is just a game that I had a lot of fun with. I don't know, they'd have to have some different characters. It probably wouldn't have to be called Catherine, it would have to be a different name, but yeah, I would love to see a sequel for this game because I really enjoyed it. Now this next game, boy, I have been waiting for a proper sequel to this game for a very, very long time, and just the way this company has been restructured, I don't think it's ever going to be possible. But hey, that's what this video is for. It's my dream sequel, and that is a proper sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, I know we got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, I believe on the Game Boy Color and the DS. However, I want a proper Final Fantasy Tactics sequel with Ramza and Delita and Agrias and all those guys, and in that world of Ivalice, not with the Laws and not with the Lizard guys. I want a proper Final Fantasy Tactics sequel. Now, I don't know how you would continue this story because, spoiler, the game's almost 20 years old now, so I'm going to spoil the game if you have not beaten it yet. And at the very, very end, we see Ramza and his sister kind of emerge from hell because we assume he dies as the portal to hell closes, and then you see him ride by. It's like, is that a ghost? Is that actually him? It's very unclear, and I guess that's the great part about the ending. It leaves it ambiguous, but also leaves it open for a sequel. And I think this game was really special to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people still clamor for a sequel. It's one of the best games of all time, one of my favorite games of all time, and I really think it's time for a sequel. You know, now with, you know, PS4, Vita, there's just so many different ways and so many different places this could get made. And there's, you know, strategy RPG I feel like has had a little bit of a resurgence recently with, you know, with XCOM. They're doing Massive Chalice at Double Fine, and then Fire Emblem was a big success on the 3DS. So guys, Square Enix, I know the guys aren't there. I know the same guys aren't there, but if you can make it happen, please do a Final Fantasy Tactics 2, a proper one. It would be amazing. I'd love you forever. And lastly, this has been slightly hinted at. I don't know if they're doing one, but the company has already said that they're working on a PS4 game. They haven't said what it is yet, but this is one of my favorite games. In fact, my favorite game on the PlayStation 3, and I adore it so much. I don't know how they would do a sequel or who the characters would be, but I want one, and that is Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. Man, this game is so special to me in so many ways. I love Studio Ghibli, so just to have a game in that art style would be absolutely amazing. Just to have more, just have it be crisper, you know, in 1080p and all that. I just want to explore that world more. Like maybe there'd be more towns, or there's another world that we go to that's not the same one, or maybe it is the same one and everything's changed. I don't know, but I love this game to death. I imported the game early, a year early, and I played with my friend that spoke Japanese just so we could play it. And then of course I bought the collector's edition, one of the very first collector's editions I've ever bought, and then I put in 50, 60 hours into this game. So special, and level 5 is probably going to be working on another Yokai Watch or something that makes him a lot of money. But Ni no Kuni, this game is super special, so level 5, you're probably not watching, but if you're out there, Akihiro Hino, if you're out there, Ni no Kuni 2. Let's do another one. This game is amazing. It's super fun, and I think a lot of people loved it, and it's just a very special, one-of-a-kind game. And if we never get a sequel, I'll still hold this in a very special place in my heart, but just me being selfish, I would really, really love a sequel to Ni no Kuni because it's just absolutely amazing in so many ways. Alright guys, well that's it. Those are games that I want sequels to. Now there's more out there that I would, you know, love a sequel to. I don't know if it would definitely have a way to be made or if the story would fit, but those are the 4 that I want more than anything else. I've been wanting them for a long time, or just I've been wanting to play more in that world and we just haven't got it. So yeah, I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm sure everybody's got a sequel that they want made that has not been made yet. So just leave it in the comments. I'd love to talk about it with you guys. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.